Y'all realize I like work through my lunch breaks for y'all, don't you? I do, because it's my lunch break, and here I am. All right, so this is graphing 5 practice. So obviously not going to worth 3 points, it's practice. So it won't be worth but maybe 9 to 12 and a half points. Won't be worth full quiz grade. Anyway, you're supposed to graph y equals negative 2/3 x minus 4. I know there's still about 5 or 6 of you that are just struggling with this. I'm thinking y equals mx plus b. Please don't struggle with that. We have a y-intercept at negative 4, and our slope is to fall 2 and run 3. That's why it's negative. So negative 4, and then I fall 2 and run 3. If you want a straighter line, put more points. Some kids do draw curves there. Even mine's going to have some curvature to it. It's hard to draw a straight line. That's all there is to the first one. That's, for some kids, it's the only one they get right. It's kind of sad. For some kids, they don't get it right. That's even worse. All right, 2y minus 4x greater than 10. We're going to have to place this into y equals mx plus b, so we're going to have to force it, would be a better word. Force it into y equals mx plus b. Most of us know that. We're going to shift the 4x right. 2y is greater than 4x plus 10. We're going to divide out the 2. I've seen kids do this too, and then they just do something else. So y is greater than 2x plus 5. That's now just like the first problem. We cross the y-axis at 5. Open hole, by the way. Open dot. Okay? Dashed lines. Our slope is to rise 2, run 1. Or vice versa, fall 2, run left 1. That is the greater than symbol. So we shade above. You're looking for something like that. These questions should be familiar to you. The questions from the last quiz. It's just been a week and a half, 2 weeks. Figure you probably forgot what they were. This is absolute value. These are the absolute value bars. It looks like a V. That's what it looks like. It looks like a V. Its vertex is at negative 4, negative 3. Change sign, keep sign. Its slope is negative 3. And, 80% of y'all probably got this right. But there's that 20%. Jesus loves you. Back 4, fall 3. It's open. It's open because of that symbolism right there. And then I fall 3 and run 1. And it's also the greater than symbol, shade above. Or around, whatever you like. This would actually be better said, shade around. There's number 3 in all of its glory. All right, moving on to this guy. Because I see the square implies parabola. Easy little things like that negative symbol out front opens down. So pay attention to that. So there's numerous kids. I think Creed, you were one of them. You made yours open up. I could be wrong about that, but numerous kids drew things that opened up. Your vertex is found the same way as the last one. Change sign, keep sign. Vertex is at 2, 5. So the right 2, rise 5. There's no inequality symbol here, so I get to be solid. And this is my initial slope. It's negative 2, so I'm going to fall 2 and run 1. I added that an entirely wrong point, didn't I? Right 2, 5. I am guilty of that too. I really am. Go right 2 up 5. And I'm going to fall 2 and run 1. There's my little parabola. You could find the y-intercept if you wanted to. You don't have to, okay? It's not about that. All right, number 6. This is the one that went really, really bad. It's because we refused to learn our forms. We have a form y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. It is a very useful formula. We'll discover that in chapter 5. So it's extremely useful. Your vertex is at p plus q over 2. And by the way, p and q are x-intercepts. For those of you who don't know what those are, you should probably repeat your freshman year of high school. That's where you cross the x-axis. So my x-intercepts are at 1 and 3. And I guess I can write the order pair if you want. 1, 0, and 3, 0. Notice the sign change. The 0 because it's the x-axis for y. So 1, 0, and 3, 0. The vertex, the x-coordinate of the vertex anyways, is going to be smack dab in the middle. If you got to use a formula, it's 3 plus 1 over 2, which is 2. It's somewhere right here. This would be your line of symmetry, smack dab in the middle. X is 2. To find the y-coordinate, plug x in. So the y-coordinate k for your vertex is going to be, when you plug a 2 in, 2 times 2 minus 1 times 2 minus 3. It's going to be 2 times a 1 times a negative 1, which is negative 2. There's my third point. Maybe I should have used a letter K. I don't know. You're supposed to understand. Where did I come up with letter K? From this. Because this is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. That's where I came up with that. This question on your quiz was actually multiple choice. It's different too. I changed it up. But anyways, you're supposed to be able to graph something in standard. All right. Your vertex, which by the way is called h, is at opposite b over 2a. So that would be a negative 6 over twice a negative 2. Really? I did fractions on this one? Okay, let's fix that. Let's make this an 8. By the time you see this, that will be an 8. So negative 8 over twice a negative 2. That's going to be 2. Sorry for the bad handwriting. My hands are hurting. You may not know this, but my hands hurt all the time. It's called carpal tunnel syndrome. And it's just the way it is. That's a 2. To find k, I plug it in. I would have negative 2 times a 2 squared plus 8 times a 2, and then minus 3. What's that going to give me? That's going to give me negative 4, add 16, which is going to be 12, take away 3, which is going to be 9. So 2, 9. The right 2, rise 9. This right here is still my initial slope. I'm going to fall 2 and run 1. Now there's something else you can get really easy off this thing. You can get your y-intercept. Your y-intercept happens when x is 0. So 0, 0, negative 3. And it is negative 3. By the way, something I didn't do, you can draw in your line of symmetry. That'll get you a 5th point. Nice thing about 5th points is you just start getting more and more accurate about the parabola. 3 is acceptable. 5 is even better. So there's that one. Here's your piecewise graph. It's a simpler one. Use this graph to answer 7 through 9. Find the domain of each piece. This is y equals negative x right here. Everybody should know that. It is drawn so long as x is less than or equal to 0. There's nothing there saying that spot's open, so it's closed. Or if you like interval notation, negative infinity to 0 with a bracket. I don't care which one you use, you just pick one. I don't know why that says negative w. That must be a typo. That's supposed to be negative 2. Negative 2 would be this piece. This is y equals negative 2. It is drawn from 0 to 4. So this one would look like this. 0 less than x less than or equal to 4. Or if you like interval notation, 0, comma 4 bracket. Either one of them. Next one is actually the square root function. I put that 2 there to remind kids there's an understood 2 there. Square root has an understood 2. You can kind of see the notation here. X minus 4, this is right 4. So we add 4 to it. Anyways, that's another lesson for another day. But that's the square root function. It is valid so long as x is more than 4. Or again, if you like interval notation, 4 to infinity. Parentheses on both. Here's the evaluation. Why the F don't you all understand F notation? Blows my mind. Blows my mind. F of 5 means find y when x is 5. So here's where x is 5. If I can count right, I look up. Right there, my y value appears to be 1. If that's too much for you, you could plug a 5 into this equation right here. That would be asking you to take the square root of 1. I mean, let's look at that real quick. That's the square root of 5 minus 1, which is the square root of 1, which is 1. You can plug numbers in too. F of negative 2, that has to be over here. So I go back 2 units and I look up. It's right there. The y value is 2. If you don't like that, you could literally look up there and say f of negative 2 is a negative 2, which is 2. You can do it, okay? F of 3 has to go into this piece right here. It's going to be negative 2. I swear it's going to be negative 2. You can look at the graph. There's 3. Look down. You're at negative 2. Solve f of x over the interval from negative 2 to 6. So my boundaries are from here to here. And I'm going to draw in the line y equals 1. It intersects there, and it intersects there. It intersects when x is negative 1, and it intersects when x is 5. Last up's the bonus questions. Quadratic has a vertex at 3, negative 3, and passes to the point 2, 5. Write it in vertex form. So the vertex form is a times x minus h all squared plus k. Plug crap in. Here's h, here's k. Y is a times x minus 3 squared minus 3. Here's some more stuff to plug in. There's x, there's y. 5 is a times 2 minus 3 squared minus 3. That'll let me figure out what a is. 5 is 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. A minus 3. Add 3. There's my a value. A is 8. Assuming I didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes I do. So my vertex form is y is 8 times x minus 3 squared, take away 3. Now that I have that, I'm going to put it in standard form. I put it in standard form by writing x minus 3 twice and foiling. If I FOIL this, I will have x squared minus 6x plus 9. Then I have to distribute my 8. Y is 8x squared minus 48x plus 72 minus 3. You know, when I first started teaching, everybody and their mom could FOIL. I don't understand what's happening. I mean, everybody could FOIL. Everybody could FOIL. But now, it's not the same. Anyways, there we go. That's how you do it. Use that to check against your work.